Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chaotic Crossover. My name is Will.
And I'm AJ.
And today we are finishing, you heard me right, finishing. Midichlorians, yes. Yeah. We are finishing Tales of the Jedi. Woo!
Tales
Right,
of the
players.
Jedi, Episode 6, Resolve.
Which I guess is missing a D because that's how we feel after finishing it. We feel resolved. Now,
I thought you were going to say we feel like we're missing a D.
We are in many ways. But you know what? I feel like we're being selfish right now, so let's not make it about us. Let's make it about this badass episode. And basically, let's just give us the rundown real quick. First of all, I want to say I liked this episode. AJ, I believe you had similar feelings to it, yes?
I thought this one was great. I thought it was a really great finale to it, but yeah, a lot of great things happened. We'll get into it. So yeah, basically, Ahsoka is at Padme's funeral. We see Padme's funeral in Revenge of the Sith.
And boy,
and
does
it turns
she look
out
good.
Dead. Well, she's dead and
Yep.
stuff. But yeah, Ahsoka. It turns out Ahsoka was there. She was in like a hood, and Bail Organa, the guy who later took Leia in, or I think had already taken Leia in at this point. It's like, oh my gosh, that's Ahsoka. She's been gone for so long. This is like after she like left the Jedi Order and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes and he's like, hey, you should like probably leave. It's good to see you. And she's like, but Padme was my friend. And he's like, cool. I don't want you to die, so you should leave. And they like go. They're like in the Jedi Temple, which has already been taken over by 616. Sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, you have to go, but also add me on LinkedIn. Because we should stay in communications, you know? So you should take this communicator. Also,
here's a stick.
I'm going to make it... It's a stick. Also, that must be the most powerful fucking receiver in the entire galaxy.
Oh my god, yeah. They're like... Well, I mean, they gotta have really good communication overall in the Star Wars universe, I guess.
Well, if we have bounty hunters walking around with basically a key fob that can locate a bounty anywhere in the galaxy, yeah, you bet that stick is reaching around. But
or send a hologram to pretty much everywhere, you know?
Yes, that is impressive. I digress. Sorry, we were at the funeral. Padme's looking great, and Bail Organa is voiced by Phil Lamar. You know, doing a voice that is not Jimmy Smith's, but doing a voice nonetheless.
Yeah. But yeah, basically he's like, hey, here's a stick. Talk to me. And you have a duty to be a good person. And then the clones that have been killing the Jedi come out and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? And Ahsoka does that like classic thing where she's like above everyone, like Spider-Man.
Right, because apparently she's Batman, or we're just acknowledging the Jedi. Yeah. The Jedi are Batman. She's got the ears. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean they're all monks. And basically, Bail Organa playing it real smooth is like, we have like in front of them is like clearly talking to Ahsoka, but framing it as if he's talking to the clones, and the clones are just like, what? So he's like, you know, we have a duty to do the right thing. And if you ever need of me, call me. And Ahsoka's like, like, you know, in her like younger 20s and stuff.
Yeah, and the clones are just like, okay, weirdo, you should go.
Let's get out of here. So they do, and then it cuts to Ahsoka working on a farm. That classic Obi-Wan Kenobi series where, and a lot of other things, this is a pretty big trope of like someone in hiding is just like working somewhere for someone. And we were talking about this. We're pretty sure this is the same planet from episode 2.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. None of the same people are there, obviously, because it's been decades and decades.
There's some Twi'leks, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of little freak heads, you know? That's fine. But there's also that droid. Remember that stupid-ass droid with, like, the bird legs walking around?
Yeah.
Basically a loader bot. Yeah.
I couldn't find any information on the planet, on either one, but pretty sure it is. But basically, she's working on a farm, and classic thing. Hey, falling on someone, falling on a girl, and Ahsoka goes, no, and like pushes the hat out of the way. Hey, famously not that dangerous, right?
Well, listen,
Like,
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to like brag or anything, but like I've hay baled before in my lifetime and like worked on farms. Now, granted, they're not the best things to have fall on you, but it's also not like, oh no, this 50-pound keg of hay, which will
this
burn
like
my bones
bundle.
to ash.
Like, would it fucking hurt landing on top of me from like 10 feet up? Yeah, but I also think I would be fine, right?
Like,
Is that
like,
crazy?
I feel like at the most dislocated shoulder. That's what I'm.
Or like
thinking.
a broken rib or something. Like,
right,
but
possibly.
survival.
But these Jedi, they don't know when to fucking quit. And you know what? I'm glad they got caught because they got no self-preservation. These sons of bitches. Like we see Cal Kestis in Jedi Fallen Order, just mucking around. It's like, oh, I'll catch you. I'll save you from falling. So many people are clumsy in this universe because Jedi are always just deciding, I'm gonna catch them or I'm gonna push things out of the way.
Well, they gotta do something with their telekinesis. But yeah, the girl clocks it, and then she's like, oh, that's a Jedi. I'm gonna make her my friend. And this is where we get to a part that I'm gonna go on a rant on later. And I'm gonna skip over it right now, because I want to finish the description of the episode first.
Only thing I'm gonna say for right now, in this broth we call life, not all things make sense equally,
So,
continue.
Basically, they have lunch, and they're like, hey, Ahsoka, have lunch with us. And the brother of the girl whose fault it was that the hay was falling, to be fair, which turns out is kind of a dick and, like, Star Wars conservative.
Right, like a libertarian, let's say.
Yeah, just, he's like, the Empire's awesome. They put order to the galaxy, and they're like, yeah, and like his dad and his sister are like, hey man, they aren't the best, but he's like, but we're fine. It's just like they're like clearly like, all right, it's like that, like you were talking about. It's like Michael J. Fox in that one like 80s sitcom or whatever, who's just like
Michael
the
J.
weirdly
Fox
conservative son. Family Ties, that's what it is.
And, like, by the way, Michael J. Fox is way more cool about it than this guy because he's like that guy who, when he says, like, when you say the government is watching, it's like, well, I don't have anything to hide, so, like, I'm totally cool with them just, like, viewing through my webcam and watching me jack it, like.
So he's established as just, like, a huge asshole. And then later...
He's a bit of a narc, yeah.
Yeah, that night, Lady and Ahsoka, she's like, I know you're a Jedi. That's pretty awesome. I won't tell anyone, I promise. Turns out, brother was listening the whole time. Brother, the Empire fucker that he is like, I'm gonna fucking snitch. I'm a snitch. And so he does. And then Ahsoka and the sister, like, leave to, like, go to town. Like when Jack's mom sends Jack into the woods to go sell his cow. It's like, all right, go sell the hay and don't take any less. And then they do that. And they come back, and everything's on fire. Everything's on fire.
Everything.
And
like, we're talking, like, Darth Maul episodes from the Clone Wars of just, like, everyone's dead. All of them.
But it turns out, not the girl's family, that stupid-ass brother and their dad, their old dad.
Nope.
And there's an Inquisitor, an unnamed one, probably the 26th brother, let's be honest. There's a lot of them at this point.
There's so many. God, there's so many
112th brother.
God, just the amount of people that they have frozen in syrup. Like, I bet they're just pulling them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the amount of Jedi they made turn during this time. But yeah, could be like General Grievous's original species. I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
He basically looks like the Overwatch character Reaper. Like, he just has, like, a skull, like, plague doctor mask on. And then, what happens here, AJ? What happens?
It's pretty scary. And then, they walk up, And basically, because there's like, you lied. There's no Jedi here, you fucking hoe. And he's like, yeah, but the son's like, they're coming back. You killed all my friends. Don't kill me, huh? They're coming back. I promise. I don't know why I turned into John Travolta, but that's what happened. But
right.
yeah, and then he's like, well, this is your reward. And he's like, gonna go to stab him. But then Ahsoka comes up, and she's like, ugh, and pushes him out of the way. And then the Inquisitor's like, oh, you are a fucking Jedi. Alright, I'm gonna fight you. You have no lightsabers, so I'm gonna easily kick your ass. And then, honestly, I think the coolest fight scene from definitely this entire show, and probably one of my favorite overall, because it's just, so basically, Ahsoka has no weapons. He takes his Inquisitor saber, like, goes like a swipe, and she just goes woo, woo, like in the Acolyte. And then she ends up just grabbing it, turning it off, taking it out of his hand, and then cutting his head off, and then his head deflates like a basketball.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, I love the choreography. It's great. She takes him down so quickly. When his face comes off, it deflates. Like, I'm like, were you made of gas? What
hey, we don't know
you?
we don't know what the species are like in Star Wars. That could be normal for that. We don't know.
There's a race in Star Wars. There's literally a Jedi that looks like Slimer from Ghostbusters, but with no face. He looks like a floating booger. So straight up, anybody can wield the Force, apparently.
But yeah, just like Ahsoka was practicing so much last episode, like it turns out she's super powerful still, even though she hasn't practiced in a while. And she's a hardened war veteran. And she just goes, whoop, whoop, kill, done. And then she's like, all right, I'm going to get you guys out of here. And then they're like, but we have nowhere to go. Our farm is gone, all of our hay. And she's like, fine. And she pulls out that stick, Bale's stick, and contacts him. And Bale's like, ready to get back in the fight? And she's like, I guess I am. And that's the end of the episode. And that's when Rebels picks up.
I guess that's when Rebels picks up, and then but Star Wars.
Super awesome. Will, what did you?
It's a good episode
overall, barring the one thing.
Comes next.
How is the animation?
You know what? I would say, for all intents and purposes, unless I'm forgetting something.
No, I don't think you are.
This is almost like Oscar-worthy, animation. Especially throughout the entire series, they don't miss a single detail at all, and it's like a little art house film every time. Like, genuinely, it feels like Pixar itself couldn't do better.
It's like updated Clone Wars. Like, they're all beautiful. There's these beautiful scenes. The fire animation is really good. Like, all these complicated parts. Wait. Oh shit! What was that? Oh, there's one part I want to talk about. It was what was it? The fucking soup. Will, I've talked about this. What the fuck is up with that soup? And why is no one talking about it? If you don't know what I'm talking about,
God damn it. We're going to put a link in the description here if we can, because you need to watch this episode. When they are having, like, lunch together, there is soup, and boy, AJ, how would you describe the soup that they're having on this kettle?
I would describe it as, like, PlayStation 1 graphics. But only the liquid. Like, everything else is beautiful. There's this nice, like, pot that they're, like, ladling stuff out of. And they're like, here's some soup, Ahsoka. Why are you so cool? And then just out of fucking nowhere, the soup is, like, 2D animated with, like, a bubble in it. They stir it. It doesn't move. It's just...
Nope.
I saw that.
It's kind of insane.
I watched it and I was like, that was weird. That was interesting. And then I talked to Will. I was like, did you notice the soup? And he goes, yeah, I totally noticed the soup. And they're like, man, I wonder if other people are talking about this. And we looked up soup, Star Wars Episode 6 animation. I couldn't find a Reddit thread. How are we the first to discover this?
they're trying to hide it from us, and it's pissing me off because guess what? Everyone talked about Obi-Wan having his mullet in the last episode, but nobody talks about the goddamn soup and how it literally looks like Martian Manhunter, like his hand is morphing into another solid thing. The way the spoon ladle just goes in, it looks like it just like phases through.
Yeah.
No contact.
It's like,
and listen, I know it's a good show considering this is what we're nitpicking on, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, and like, this show's been out for over a year, and like Disney Plus shows have done a thing sometimes where they're like they'll fix CGI later, whatever, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. Like updating it, they're on a time crunch. I get it, but they just didn't. It's like the animator was like animating this really beautiful, and he's like, you know what? I want to give my 3-year-old son some animation experience, and I'm gonna put it in the episode.
Oh my god!
Like it's like, and it's like, oh man, but that 3-year-old son did a fucking bad job, and you should have fixed it. It's like when you send your 3rd grader with a science project, but you actually did it yourself, and the 3rd grader did none of the work. That's what should have happened. But it's like letting that 3rd grader build that baking soda volcano. That's what it looks like, and no one noticed. Like, I understand. There are oversights that happen. Things slip through the cracks. But both of us noticed it. Both of us.
And we're stupid. We're
dumb.
stupid. The only other thing that we ever noticed in the animation that looked a little wonky was episode 1 with the yellow tiger. And the way he flails. He flails like he's attacking.
Right, but that was like a smear frame. And smear frames are always going to be weird. Like, I still have 3D animation, so it doesn't have as many, like, smear frames, I guess. But, like, those things happen. That's understandable. It's not the biggest, but this thing, it's so obvious. So, like, oh my god.
It's, to be fair, you know what? This makes everything that Star Wars has done up to this point look good because of this goddamn soup. I'm gonna watch The Last Jedi and say it was amazing because this soup is fucking embarrassing. All right, are you embarrassed now, here, George Lucas? Oh my god! Look at this guy.
I think I know what happened, Will. I think I know what actually happened.
What happened? What happened, AJ?
I think that soup.
Talk to Papa Will.
I think that soup is the biggest freak of them all.
Wait a second. Are you implying that the soup is sentient and in itself?
No, I think I'm implying
a
new precedent for freaks. Freaks don't have to be alive.
Freaks can be soup. To be alive sometimes. Freaks can be soup. There used to be stone soup. Now there was stone soup. Now there's freak soup. And that's honestly, that elevates it for me. Just freak soup. And who's in that freak soup? Yoda. Just taking a little bath, stirring it up for when Luke comes.
No, it's Yaddle from a couple episodes ago.
Oh, and they're tastes cooking so her up. Bland. She tastes like she can't last in a fight longer than 90 seconds.
She lasted longer than that Inquisitor.
Yeah, which, you know what? Good on her. And that shows that the light side is more powerful.
It's more powerful than the dark side. Yeah.
And you can taste it. You can taste it in the soup. There's more flavor.
Yeah. A little more spice, All the dark side users, they got like, they're all like emo, and they all have red lightsabers. But light side, we got variation. We got like humans with mullets that look like Jesus. We got tiny little freaks. Green freaks, couple.
We have Irish people. People. We're very accepting. We have
just
women, men,
just like Count Dooku fellas as Christopher Lee, and then we have Count Dooku with that honking schnoz from the Clone Wars. Just
we
humongous
got an albino.
nose.
Yeah, we have an albino Yoda with a scar on his eye. It's great.
Yeah. All sorts of little freaks. But look, again, we talked about this episode is amazing. Like, it's really good.
It's truly a tour de force.
and this the show is really just this little taste of like, hey, here's what happens in the middle. We didn't want to write a comic about it. here's where it is. Like, and it's like a less than 20-minute episode. It starts and it ends. It has a simple plot. There's no ham hawing or anything. It's nice. And the fight scene, as short as it is, I think that's more realistic in general. Like, if you were fighting a Jedi, you wouldn't last for 20 seconds. You would die in 2. Like, and the story is cool. Like, the son, that libertarian son, got like a little bit of a redemption arc because he was like looked guilty at the end, which implies things. But
right, yeah, that's definitely not going to be like something they hold over him for his entire life.
oh yeah, that he's the reason that their entire village, all their friends and other family died. That's not going to be trauma.
That they go into witness protection. You know, no one thinks about that. That's going to be okay. And you know what? At the end of the day, we really, really learned that everything that happened will happen again, you know? Because it all starts with a baby. Baby gets the Force. Baby grows up. Baby gets swole. Baby farms.
Baby gets soup.
And then baby gets soup. And then baby kills billions of people, whether it be on a planet or a space station. So, there's a lot of things that baby can do, you know?
Just don't put baby in the corner.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have some thoughts on Dirty Dancing. We won't get into all of that, but it's okay.
I've never seen it. I only know that one quote. That's all I know about the movie.
Join us next time when we review Dirty Dancing on Chaotic Crossover.
Maybe. Probably not. Maybe not. Eventually.
Someday. But yeah, on the freak scale, I'm gonna give this a freak soup. And
I think it's better than freak soup. Because the soup is like 1. Seriously, go watch the episode, just go to the part with the soup, and you'll see what we mean. We're not crazy. But like overall, other than freak soup, I think this episode is a classic Yoda.
It's, you know what? It's a classic. I'm gonna give it cut up, burnt up Anakin Skywalker. Freaky, but a little bit of crisp to it. You know what I mean?
Tasty, yeah. Toasted.
Because and I think Anakin constitutes as a freak when he's cut in half.
Yeah,
just like Darth Maul does.
Because he's crunchy soup.
Yeah, he's kind of like soup that you burn. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if we think of lava as a soup, he went in the lava, so he was part of the soup.
You know, cereal can be a soup that's cold, and then it's crunchy, and that's half the battle. Kids, stay in school. This has been Chaotic Crossover. Join us next time. We are looking forward to kind of keeping things rolling with our episodes. Absolutely. But thank you again. I'm Will.
I'm AJ. Have a good day, night, time.
Keep reading.